Welcome to Marty's Fly Tying Bench. Today I'm going to demonstrate this week's Vice Squad 6-pack pattern. It's a Pat's Rubberlegs. And we're going to tie it in all black. Very useful if you're fishing a salmonfly hatch. This is a size 8. It's a good size for the pooter and the big Thompson. If I was heading over to the Colorado to fish an actual hatch, I'd be tying this in 6s, 4s, maybe even 2s. I'm going to start off with some lead on the hook, 0.025. I'm going to do 12 turns. Now I only wrapped 11, but I've got about a turn's worth on the back. So there's 12 turns. Now I'm going to start my thread. We're going to create a couple of index points to help us be consistent here. This thread is about an eye and a half width back from the actual eye. Then I'm going to push the lead up to it and keep my thumbnail in place while I build up just a small dam in front of it. Then with kind of looser wraps, I'm going to get to the back end and tie another little dam. That'll hold the lead in place. With this fly, it's not necessary to cover the whole coil of lead with thread. It's going to stay pretty good. Now, the legs are Spanflex. This one is Montana Fly's Sexy Floss. Spirit River will make it under another name, Umpqua. There's a lot of spandex out there. Now, it comes in a long strip, and what I'm going to do is fold it over and tie it in by the tips. These are the tail sections. By tying it in on the tips, I'm not going to have any trimming to do. Nothing's going to end up on the floor. Now I've got the tails and I've still got the full length left, so your scraps are always going to be larger, which makes them more versatile. And you can get a few extra bugs out of a bag of material. Now I'm going to peel a little bit of the chenille back so I can get to the thread core and wrap this back to where the tail started. Now you notice I tied the tail in a little bit down the bend, which makes them stick out in the same plane as the hook shank. I've got a rotary function on this vise, so I'm going to spread the thread out and just kind of hold the bobbin in my hand. I'm going to reach past it and grab the chenille. And I'm going to make 8 turns. Well, let's make 9. And the reason I do that is I'm going to make the same number of turns when I tie the next fly and the one after that. So every time I look at it, if I've placed my lead right, I'm going to have 2 index points. I'm going to have one right here where the chenille stops, one right here where the lead stops, and I can eyeball the middle. That'll help me set my legs evenly. Now I'm going to pinch this on my side of the lead with my thumb, and you can see that the legs are not quite as far as the tail, but they do extend past the chenille body. You only need a couple of wraps. And then I'm going to reach over and pinch that into place with pretty firm turns of thread and eyeball it and cut it about the same length. Now I'm going to move forward and eyeball where the middle of that lead coil is and do the same thing. Now I can kind of measure my legs against each other and won't have a lot of trimming to do because they're going to be very close to the same length. But now I don't have any chenille to butt it up against, so I might need to make a few thread wraps behind to kind of pull them forward. But a little bit of separation is all you need because you can do the rest of it when you wrap the chenille through. Now I'll cut this far leg even with the first set. Now I've got the front set of legs, measure them against the existing legs, and I'm going to make the thread turns right up against the lead, which will make this leg stand out a little. Reach across and do it with the far leg. Cut that one to approximate length. And now I've still got that original piece of spandex. I'm going to fold it over and tie it in by the tips. Get a couple of turns underneath and right up against the eye. That'll help lift your antenna up a little bit. Now, all I need to do is come through all this with the chenille, and if I've spaced it evenly, I'll get 2 turns between the back 2 set of legs, and I'll get 2 turns between the middle legs and the forward legs. And somewhere in there it's going to slide down that little ramp from where it goes from lead to hook, and that will help push the front legs forward. And then you should have enough room left to get another turn of chenille forward of the front legs. Now I'm going to work around those antennae. An extended reach whip finisher is great here. Now I'm going to have to pick up my scissors once to cut the thread, cut the chenille, and now my last step is I'm going to fold all of these legs up and cut them all even with the shortest one that's in there, so now they should be consistent. Drop a head cement's a good idea on this one since we're tying over fuzzy stuff, but here's your Pat's rubber leg, black stonefly.